It appears we have a resolution to the long national hardball nightmare. If you have not been paying attention, the convicted cheater, Carlos Correa, has landed another free agent contract. Where have we heard this before? Has Correa patched up his differences with the New York Mets? No. So if you didn't see this, for the third time in less than a month, Carlos Correa has agreed to a free agent contract. He ain't going back to the Giants. He ain't going to the Mets. The mystery team is the Minnesota Twins. Ding, 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 ding. The Minnesota Twins, a reported 6-year contract for $200 million guaranteed. There's some other funny language in that contract. But as always, the deal is pending a physical, but there are some late-night messages being passed on to us that it is a fait accompli, that it's going to happen, that Correa will officially sign the contract later on Wednesday, and he will be a Minnesota Twin. That used to be just a mere formality. In the case of Carlos Correa, the physical, as we know, is the main event. So forget the Mets, forget the Giants. Carlos will be chilling in the Twin Cities. He'll be hanging out there for at least the next 3 years until he demands a trade. So let us discuss the question. What was your initial reaction to Carlos Correa losing out on $150 million? Remember, the original contract with the Giants was $350. The Twins contract is for $200 million. So this cat lost $150 million. So I've got MasterCard, education, and FTX. And we will tie all of these things together, and we're going to make some Juicy Lucy's, because that's the home of the modern interpretation of the Juicy Lucy, the Twin Cities. So at least Correa will be able to eat that, and he's got that to look forward to. So we'll start with the Maller report card. Carlos Correa gets an F. An F. The Minnesota Twins, they get an F. Everybody loses. It's a lose-lose situation, except for the fan. This is a great day for the fan. I'll tell you why. Because Scott Boras, the super agent, who never loses, he lost. Carlos Correa, the player, the cheater, he lost. Right? Wonderful. This is a wonderful story. Could not happen to a nicer guy. Carlos Correa has been serving up snake venom for years, and now he gets a spoonful of that snake venom right from a python in his face there, and how the mighty have fallen in the span of 28 days. Less than a calendar month, Carlos Correa went from the $350 million man, the toast of the Bay Area with the Gigantes, to the East Coast guy, $315 million from the Metropolitans, and now here we are, $200 million with the Twins. What a loser. What a loser. Now, all because of a bum leg and a rotten attitude. Those two things in play here. It's a MasterCard commercial playing out in front of us, right? Traveling the country from West Coast to East Coast with your super agent, getting two $300 million contracts, watching them unravel, then being forced to go back to Minnesota while losing $150 million. Priceless, right? Absolutely priceless. We had a feline-like reaction here. We had a feline-like reaction as a gigantic Cheshire cat smile from ear to ear. Right there, we were so happy. What a wonderful thing. Great mitzvah. When you wish upon a star type stuff, just desserts. What a dope, Carlos Correa. I love it. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how humiliating is this situation for Carlos Correa? Right? On the Maller scale of shame, 1 to 10, with 10 being redonkulous. This is an 8.5. 8.5, as the old song goes, every rose has its thorn. Easy come, easy go. His damaged leg and bad mojo cost him dearly. But this is an education, right? Carlos Correa is getting an education on the school of hard knocks. Boo-hoo-hoo! That is a business in which the business of baseball, which you are judged your value solely on your contract. It's a status thing, right? It's a status thing. And for a guy like Correa, who's got that fish-eating grin, egotistical, thin-skinned, the typical Mama Luke, Carlos Correa was in rarefied air originally when he knocked it out of the park with the Gigantes, right? Oh, my God, it's so good. It turns out he didn't leave his heart in San Francisco. We know that. But for $350 million, he could certainly pretend like he cared about the Golden Gate Bridge and the Bay Bridge and all that. So then the Giants got cold feet, and he was offended, of course, and within the span of a couple of hours, he hightailed it, got a deal done with the Mets, and he ended up taking a $35 million hit on that, but it's okay, right? Bright lights, big city. If you can make it there, you'll make it anywhere. It's up to New York, right? As Sinatra sang back in the days, he crooned. Well, New York pumped the brakes. It was all a hallucination, a mirage, daydreaming, night thinking. And now, with his tail firmly planted between his legs, Carlos Correa does the walk of shame back to Minnesota, a team that was below him that he didn't want to go to last offseason, and he only went there for 1 year with no intention of ever making that a permanent locale. And he got $200 million, right? Oh, wonderful. Whee! Right. Take a ride around Reality Ranch, Carlos. That sounds like a ton of dough. 37% federal tax rate, so you trim that off the top, plus the agent, plus the Minnesota taxes. But he doesn't want to be there. That's the most important thing. He never wanted to be there, and he was all excited when the Mets came in there. He really wanted to play for the Mets more than anybody. And the Twinkies, I gave them an F on the Maller report card. They look absolutely terrible. They look so bad, right? Just used and abused. Like, this is a guy that didn't want to play for the team. He left for the first big offer he got with the Giants. He didn't want to play on the West Coast either. But it's like, I'll go to the Giants. I'll toss the Twins aside. Then the Giants get cold feet. He goes to the Mets. Then he gets rejected by the Mets. And now the Twins get sloppy thirds is what they get. Right? And he's off the grid. In the baseball world, the Twins don't matter. They don't. And it's below him unless it's not. And this also means, big picture, wide-angle lens, that in the eyes of baseball, Carlos Correa is not in the same category as Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, and Aaron Judge. He's more in line with Brandon Nimmo. You're Brandon Nimmo, Carlos Correa. Nimmo signed a deal. He signed a deal with the Mets for $162 million, which my computer-like brain tells me is a lot closer to $200 million than it is to $350 million, which is what Correa originally thought he was getting. And he finally, bravo, finally Major League Baseball punishing a cheating Astro. Right? The ass, 1,000, 2 1,000 holes, finally have somebody punished, and it's Carlos Correa. Could not happen to a nicer fellow. All right, last word here. So will the Giants and the Mets have regrets for not getting the Carlos Correa deal done? And I'm going, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I look at Correa kind of like crypto. You know how these crypto guys are con artists? Think of him like FTX, which, by the way, Major League Baseball was in bed with FTX. They had the umpires wearing the logo. But there's no intrinsic value for Carlos Correa. It's kind of like that Larry David when he had that smirk in the FTX commercial, and he said, I don't think so. And I'm never wrong about this stuff, never, right? And people are like, the fear of missing out for the Mets or the Giants. To the untrained eye, it seemed like, the Mets really screwed up, the Giants screwed up. But the Giants and Mets, what they did, and I will give them credit. They did their proper oversight, and they were not hornswoggled here by Scott Boras and the shiny object like the Minnesota Twins were. Correa, this all goes back to an injury he suffered in 2014. He broke his right fibula while an Astro minor leaguer, and he hasn't missed any time with it, but according to what I've been hearing, and I don't know if you've heard the same thing, but I've been getting people saying, well, the doctors believe that he's got the A word, arthritis, that he's showing signs of arthritis. I know that my mom had arthritis. It's a terrible thing. And once you get arthritis, there's some medications, but it's something that's gonna screw you up pretty good, especially as a professional athlete. That's what I've heard. It has not been confirmed, but that's the little birdie chirping in my ear. But the Twins are suckers, right? Because whether or not the man has arthritis or not, I'm not a doctor. That's just what I've heard. But the Twins, they're the ones also wearing the dunce cap here, because even if he's perfectly healthy, even if Correa plays for the next 6 years, this guy is asbestos. And anything the Twins accomplish, we will not take. We will not give them credit. Just like there's no champion in baseball circa the year 2022, the championship is void because the Astros were not punished, and the players were still the face of the franchise there. And so anything Correa accomplishes, any team accomplishment, does not count. And you don't want to breathe in those microscopic fibers that will just leave you in a really bad shape. Your lungs will be all messed up when you hang out with somebody like Carlos Correa. So bad job by the Twins, and now we can just eliminate the Twins for the next however many years Correa is actually going to be there.
If you don't know the facts, then you got to chill.
Yeah, that's the guy. You want to cheer for that guy? You want to spend your money buying hot dog and popcorn and nachos for that guy? Well, good luck to you. I'm not going to do that.
Cheating ass. I can't say that.
I'm bummed out, too, because I was like, I want to see a Twins game, but now I'm not going to do it. And I was like, well, let me see we're hoping to go to Minnesota to hang out with some fans of the show in the Twin Cities here later this year. And I was like, well, maybe I'll go to a Twins game. But now after this, I'm like, I'm not going. I'll have to go check the schedule, see when the St. Paul Saints, the minor league team there, is home. I'll go to one of them games, one of those games. That's where I'll hang out, but I'm not going to a Twins game. I can't support this guy. So that's it. I'm done. No Twins game for me. I'm out.